Track gang, and welcome to the Boeville Newtown's episode number 11 for 2022. It happens to be March the 20th of 2022, and well, I think I may have gotten onto something with this camera. I'm going to try something a little bit different. I know in the viewfinder for me right now it looks like I'm a little washed out. You know, like there's too much light, but we'll see what happens. A little different setup right now. I'm getting ready to swing over because I want to show you all what I am going to be working on, at least the beginning of this vlog, at least to start off. There's an issue over here in the yard that's been bugging me since I put it together. And with the dieseling platform pretty much together now, it needs to be fixed. So let's swing over here and I'll show you what I'm babbling about. And what it really boils down to is, and I think it's showing up on the camera, this track here is not parallel to the track here. It's out too far. And I was looking at it going, okay, so how the heck am I going to fix this? Like I said, it's been bugging me. Is it operationally an issue? No, it's not operationally an issue, but it just doesn't look right. So I was debating what I was going to do with it. And I've come up with a solution. It may not be a great solution, but I've come up with a solution. And literally what it's going to boil down to is, I have, I guess, two ways I could tackle this. Right now, this is an 18-inch radius curve. The locomotives that come in and out of this diesel servicing facility, or in and out of this facility, are not long locomotives. They're switch locomotives. GP38s, U-boats, BQ237s, and the like. BL2s. So it's fairly small equipment. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take out this piece of 18 and I'm actually going to put in a piece of 15. And of course now people are going to be like, whoa, wait a minute. You're going to put a 15-inch radius curve into the yard. Well, yes. Like I said, because of the fact that the locomotives are fairly short, 15-inch radius is not going to be a problem in here. The other thing that I could possibly do, and I don't know if it would be worth even fooling with, would be to take this switch and cut it back a little bit and move things over, but I'm not sure that cutting this back like I've done with some of the other ones, you know, cutting it down closer to where the frog is, would give me enough room that the 18-inch radius would still work. So therefore what we're going to do is we're going to pull this up and we're going to try to swing everything in a little bit, and we'll see what it looks like when I'm done. And here I go. I was going to swing behind the camera and I don't need to do that. Well, um, oh Lord. So when you think you've got an easy fix, you know, at least you think you've got an easy fix. It's never that easy. First problem is the fact that, well, obviously I have dead track sitting here, so I could stop the diesels anywhere along this stretch, which for what I'm doing, I really don't need. I've never used anything other than the 2 dead tracks that are on the platform itself. So in theory, I've got extra dead track in here that I'm never going to use, because originally I was thinking that, you know, you'd bring a locomotive in, there would only be 1 locomotive sitting here, but they might have 2 or 3 of them sitting ready to go out. Well, the yard doesn't get that much traffic to even warrant having that many diesel locomotives sitting in the yard. So theoretically, there's no need for this dead track here or this one here. I think I'll keep this one. So I'll keep this one, and then this one and this one. But I'm going to get rid of these 2. Fairly simple. The only thing I got to do is just disconnect the wire and you know, get rid of the switches that are in the panel. And I'm pointing over here, and I'm not even sure if it's over, if you can even see that these are the 2 switches that control these 2 block, or these 2 dead tracks. So that's one thing. The other thing, looking at it now, if I were to cut this switch back, I can keep the 18-inch radius here and be able to get what I want. Now, I could still, in theory, let's just see if the 15 would work. And the 15 is actually not going to work regardless. It's still coming out too far. So the better way to go would be just to take out the spike here and just bring this in. Let's go ahead and hook this piece of track back up. Of course, I know I'm going to have to replace rail joints. Actually, I didn't want to hook that back up there because now I'm going to extend that piece of track out a little bit. To be able to get what I want. Question is do I even have a straight section left long enough to do that? Now that's a little bit longer. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. And you probably a 6 or a 7. And that one's too long. That's too short. Alright, I think I'm going to have to go over to my other box of track and see what we've got floating around. Oh, wait a minute. Aha! Aha! I see, says the blind man as he picked up his hammer and saw. Well, that passes the straight eye test, that's for sure. Okay, well, I guess I'm bringing out the Dremel tool, and cutting a piece of track. Okay, if you ask me, that looks a lot better. Stupid. Okay. Well, the next thing I got to do is I got to clean up this mess a little bit here. I've got to replace a couple of dead track spots. Actually, that one there I don't have to worry about. I've already removed that one and that. Okay, well, I've already got all the insulator rail joints pulled, so that should be good. So yeah, the next thing is going ahead and tacking this all down, and then we'll see if we can run a locomotive or two across it. We'll be back. Okay, well, this project ended up being a little bit more involved than what I had originally planned. Couple things here. First off, we know we've got this track straight now, at least for the most part. This track is in, obviously, it didn't move. It's been spiked. This piece of track out here, which goes to the new unloading rack for the tank cars, this whole thing needed to be re-tacked. This obviously needed to be redone. I saw an issue here with what was originally a third of an 18, which would have actually put it over in that direction. That obviously wasn't going to work, so I actually cut down a section of 22-inch radius, which is right in here. That comes off, feeds a 22, then it feeds a straight, which goes right on back. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to put two cars into the car shed anymore, but that's fine. Because I realized that the track that was there before was going back into where the future roundhouse is going to sit. I actually cut a piece of track off of here. If you remember this there was a heck of a tail here. I took that off, namely because of the fact that it really wasn't needed. And number one. Number two, it didn't look right with the now unloading rack sitting here. So, and I'm thinking that the piece of track I've got in at the unloading rack might be a bit long, but we'll see what happens once we get a tank car sitting in there. Which brings me to my next thing. And that's the fact that everybody's been talking about the trains or the rail fanning and such. Well, obviously at the moment we can't do any type of a rail fan video because I've got tools and stuff all over the place. And I just went into the yard and looked. I think the next trains up the line, I think, are supposed to be passenger trains. But right after that is the north and southbound local. The new northbound local is supposed to have a tank car on it. The tank cars that are supposed to be converted are sitting over the box of shame, which is still sitting on the layout. And I had to clean up down here a little bit today, which means that some of the stuff that was actually out on the old kitchen table is now back on the workbench. So I've got some manipulation to do before I can do anything else. So I'm going to clean up this mess, and I'm going to clean up the other mess, and then I'm going to clean up the other mess. And then we'll see about getting some trains running. So stick around, we'll be back. So, well, hey, we've got a switcher on its way to go out. I kind of tested and I just noticed that this camera is not sitting even, of course. So anyway, it's kind of hard to tell from this angle, and I don't really know if I can get it in any other angle. But I did try to do some shaping to the foam going in towards the yard here. I'm not really sure why I even bothered, because to a point this is just going to be like a depression over here. So I'm not really sure why I even bothered trying to contour it, but I did. Yeah, that was an exercise in futility, I guess. But at any rate, so I'm going to go ahead and get ready to run an op session. And it's going to really be kind of centered around what's going on over here. because like I said, we've got a locomotive that's getting ready to head out. So we'll be back. Okay, folks, so we got ourselves a slightly different look here, and I'm hoping that the audio is going to be okay, because I actually dialed it down a bit. I noticed the other day when I was doing some of the work over in Boeville Yard that the audio was really overdriven. So still learning the camera. We'll see what happens. Anyway, why are we here at Whicert Industrial? Well, I realized something when I was messing around over here, that some of these switches are not actually mounted. So that's one of the things I'm going to be working on, and of course most people would be like, why aren't you using tortoises? Well, they're just not in the budget right now. So we're not using tortoises, we're still using the old Atlas snap switches. That was one issue. The other reason why there's a switch sitting here is because this one doesn't have any screw points. The actual screw points are gone. So that one there, the whole mechanism has to come out. So what I'm going to do is, take our wonderful little brass screws and nuts and go ahead and actually mount these switch machines in place, so that way they're not sliding all over the place. That's the project for tonight. So we'll be back in a bit. Okay, folks, so this one back here was being a pain in the rear end. It did not want to screw in, but I got it. Now, before I forget it, and I'm sure that maybe somebody has already picked up on this, if not, I'll zoom in here a little bit. And okay, and I doubt that it's going to show up all that well. This back here is what they call a manual. All of the Atlas, lifelike Atlas Bachmann switch machines are basically, they can be manual, but they can also be electrified. This one here is a good example. This one here has got all the, and it's not even showing up on the camera because I've got it zoomed in too tight. This one here, if you notice, has the electrical contacts that go into the solenoid, and that'll make it operate automatically, or of course you got your neat little slide switch here and you can do it manually. This one, and this one up here are all manual. Why? Because they don't have the electrical contact in them. They don't even have a solenoid in them. I mean, it's just a plastic shell. I'm not sure where I got them, but I've had them for a little bit. And the other thing that's odd with them is the fact that they're all for left-hand switches. None of them are for right hands, which would have been nice because I could really use one of those slimline ones over here. But that's a right-hand switch. I don't have one at the moment. I'll have to get one. But yeah, as you can see, this one here is missing the mounting points. So that's the reason why I took it out. Any rate, let me go ahead and zoom this thing out here a bit, and we're going to try and do this without causing, well, actually, you know what, I'm going to stop. We'll be back. Okay, so that's basically going to do it for this week. I really don't have much else at the moment. I mean, I've got a bunch of stuff to work on, don't get me wrong, but as far as trying to keep this video on the short side, we're pretty much done for this week. So this here was a little bit different than what it had been. Again, bouncing around a little bit, but it is what it is. So wanted to give you all a reminder that this weekend is my Sidetrack Sunday, and that happens to be Sunday the 27th, 2022, March. So March 27th, 2022, 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern, is going to be Sidetrack Sunday on my channel. I have no idea what I'm doing yet. I'm sure I'll find something, and I'm sure by the time it's all said and done, it'll be full of hilarity. But it is what it is. So, you all know the deal. Wait for the high ball. Green tracks ahead. We'll catch you all next time. Be safe. God bless. We will see ya.
you